Women raise children, but men raise adults.
You taught me so many things. I was 20 years old when we first started dating. You taught me how to be a woman. You taught me how to live. You taught me how to be a friend. You've given me so much in life. And this is not enough. It's not enough I can give you. I just want you to be happy. And every year, I'm even more in love with you. And I want to spend every day of my life with you. Happy birthday.
A lot of Black women would say, why do you call him daddy? Because he's raising me. He's raising me.
What's cracking, people? It's your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, representing high-level technicians operating globally and beyond. So listen, today I wanted to play a string of clips that sort of correspond. This is actually taken from a greater conversation that myself and the master teacher, B.G.S. Ibmore, had regarding a summary of the introduction to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson's book regarding the Black Masculinist turn. I'm going to leave a link in the description for that as well. But there were some key points that were highlighted over the course of this conversation that I want to make a couple of posts on this week, because I think that these conversations are important to have, especially when we talk about intermediate and advanced game. So without further ado, I want to continue this sort of theme of men raising adults. Now, when I say that women raise children and men raise adults, it's not to belittle or to marginalize any component of this dynamic. It is just to highlight the necessity of acknowledging, embracing, and amplifying the value of our natural counterparts. So without further ado, here's the remainder of this clip.
A lot of Black men get upset, when they say, that they have a string of women that they service, like 10, 15, sometimes 20. Okay. And I say, okay, so after the second woman, what do you get? And they say, they look at me with their blank stare like, what? Yeah, what do you get? Okay.
Yeah,
that shocks them. Yeah.
and so now, full kind of sort of semicircle.
Go ahead.
Back to the forward, right? That's why that's what triggered me about Wadley's statement of vulnerability. The trigger point for the guys who listen to you explain it that way, or even ask that question, right? Wise men, wise teachers are the ones that ask the best questions, right? That's the same thing that triggered them. They didn't realize that part of integration requires presence and an understanding and appreciation of where you are, why you're there, and what is this dynamic. Like, we can fool ourselves into imagining that, we're these stallions. We're a necessary, service in a world of unfulfilled, women or whatever. But unless we investigate, what is the cause for this? What's actually happening? How are we participating in this dynamic? We'll never have a comprehensive understanding of what we're doing. What are we actually? So that's really what led to the shock when you asked that question, right? Like, holy crap! Am I the Duracell battery? Am I the human vibrator? Who am I to these
women? Yeah.
And why do I consider that to be a badge of honor?
Yeah.
It
was something Master Yao did mention.
Yeah.
He did mention it. Yeah.
And this is why conversations are necessary, and why mentorship is necessary, because when we try to define who we are, and all we have are these numbers, right? These lay counts or these notches or whatever, or just one of anything of any experience. We have to step back and take inventory of, okay, is this the only dimension to me, right? And that's really flooring for a lot of men who don't have mentorship, who don't have coaching, who don't have wiser men or more experienced men to guide them through that particular conversation. And it's tough. It is tough because women see that. Women can see that a mile away.
Yeah.
If and it doesn't necessarily have to be your prowess per se. They can see that you're overcompensating by spending money or being flashy or now it's the nerd movement, right? It's this movement to target men who have interest in anime or interest in swords or in trains or in something that's enigmatic or not on the beaten path.
Yeah.
And leverage it.
And nerds have money.
Yeah.
Nerds are programmers, engineers, and technologists, right?
Exactly.
And so that's where you find them.
Right. Cons, Comic Cons. You got to help me with this one. I don't see. Look! Nerds are out of my depth of range.
Yeah. Comic Cons. The Blurred Con is in DC, Baltimore. Yeah,
okay.
But they're all over the place. But now there are black, what we call Blurred Cons, where you have black nerds coming up like for comic books and science fiction, and the cosplay and all that kind of stuff. So.
But the point to that is, how do you get inside that wall that most men have built up around their inner child? Talk to them like a child. Talk, baby talk. Okay, a lot of anime has to do with
inner child,
schoolgirls, right?
Oh yeah.
So I mean that's a Trojan horse. Well, I mean not to get too far ahead.
It's an archetype to get inside. Yeah, it's an
exactly.
Archetype.
And once they, I'll call it. Taking custodialship of your inner child, hijacking it.
Basically, and this is something Jung talks about when he talks about your anima, right? And he said that why it needs to be developed inside instead of having a woman carry it for you, because your anima is your emotional. For a man, is your emotional center.
Yes.
And so if you can't express it, right, you're trying to find a vessel to express it for you. So that's where the woman comes in. But you give your inner child or your emotional center to her. Guess what she can do to it?
Oof.
Yes, that's why a lot of guys that really hand over carte blanche their emotional center to their significant other or their wife or whatever, and when she crushes it, guess what happens to them? That's why they have a toe tag on their toes.
Exactly.
A few months later.
Exactly.
Destroys them. Yeah.
Whereas where we come in is we try to first identify it, okay,
yes.
But also set up a structure for integration. Meaning, you need activities. You need to talk to men in men-centered spaces because women raise children, but men raise adults. Okay, that may be controversial, but it is true. You need to have the emotional, release, the emotional range of discovery of masculinity, because men, we emote very differently than women emote. Okay, we emote physically, playing basketball, football, baseball, external activities, tactile.
And I think it's coming back because I don't know. I don't know if you saw, I went with my grandson and my daughter to see, was it Gran Turismo? Okay, the movie, right?
Okay.
And, it's supposed to be, a geek movie, almost like a semi-kid movie because we're talking about a video game. But something was very significant in that movie that I caught that if you watch, you should watch out for. Okay. A lot of male emotional labor was actually in that show, done by the engineer that as a surrogate father and by his own father. Okay,
that's a very good point.
I don't know if you saw it or not.
No, I haven't. But the subject of male emotional labor. I mean, obviously, you and Dr. Johnson and others in this space have had conversations about what that means and have unpacked it to degrees. But that's a very, very important topic of discussion because men are trained to satiate and to address and attend to the emotions of women on the terms of women, and to use the brick chick as an example,
right?
What was the first thing that she did to trigger that response?
Tears, yeah.
Tears.
I'll say, we have our traits, our flaws. I want to say possibly we could be like emotional manipulators. I'll be honest with that. I think so. When it comes to guys, I cry. I just cry. Don't be mad. You gonna break it out. You gonna break out all the waterworks. You do the ugly cry and the yes, please don't do that. I've been snotting on Joe's line for days. Baby, send me video. Baby, just talk to me for a little bit.
She started crying and screaming. So when we talk about how females react to trauma or danger, it's a scream. How men who are trained, who are properly taught, they react with vigilance. We get ready. We're alert. We're ready to neutralize whatever the threat. And what would happen in a situation with the brick chick, if there was a masculine man present, he would have told her to calm down.
Right.
He would have been like, stop talking. Yeah. And then walked her through, what does he look like? Which way did he go? Right. What was the description of, you know what I'm saying? But that was not present. And that's a great example of the contrast between how women emote and how men emote. Right. And how we can design structures so that we can address specifically how men develop ourselves in our emotional bodies, our emotional intelligence. Right. And it's going to take some time because we have to unpack and unprogram.
And we have to value how men emote, because the way women have, our mothers teach us that the way we emote, the way we actually express our emotions is not emotions. Okay.
It's a hybrid of feminine emotions.
That we should emote and express our emotions like they do. Okay.
Right. So that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.